Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game that we're making. When we last left off, we were making monsters for the final dungeon. So we got harpies, burnt flowers, sky goyles, and mini-mans. And also a water serpent for who all intents and purposes is completely done. So, hooray! That's one less monster we have to deal with. Now we need to get the stats dealt with these monsters. So the first thing I'm gonna do is give them max HP. It'll kind of make things a little bit easy for testing purposes. Maybe not max HP. Let's simplify things a little bit. We'll give them 1,000 HP each. It'll be kind of easier to keep track of how much damage I'm causing against them, because I kind of want to do some figuring on that. So, let's start with the harpy. Well, actually, let's start by going back to earlier monsters in the game. Kind of get an idea of their strengths and weaknesses and that sort of thing. Because obviously, the monsters in this dungeon are going to be a little bit stronger now. So let's see here. It looks like the highest agility among these guys was 15. Unless we go with the Iron Giant, in which case it was 20. Let's not go that high. We'll go with... Well, the Burnt Flower we're not going to give any defense. The Harpy, probably... no. Let's see here. Who would have the highest? Highest defense would probably be the Mini-Man. He'll probably have like a guard of 30. The Sky Goyle will have a guard of 20, and the Harpy will probably be at like 15. We'll go with that for the defense. As for agility, we need to kind of figure out what our agility is. So let's go ahead and head back into the test play. And check out our stats. Eventually. Alright, so our agility right now seems to be 35, 63, and 56. Daristrix is slow. But that was intentional, so that's okay. So with that in mind, 63, 56... Meanwhile, evasion seems to be at the most 42, so we will want to make sure that none of the enemy agilities is lower than 42. Let me go ahead and write this stuff down so it'll be easier. So, agility for our group is 35, 63, 56, and evasion for our group is 15. Daristrix is a big target, 42, and 28. So with that in mind, we can kind of guess what our enemy's agility is going to be. So Mini-Man will probably be kind of like the slowest. That looks all cumbersome to move around. So yeah, probably the slowest. Needs to be higher than 42. Let's go with 48. Now, I will definitely have to find out how this Steel MP works. Is it based on attack? Let's go ahead and figure that out. Whether it's based on attack or a percentage, because when it comes to the magic spell, which I'm quite familiar with, it steals something like somewhere around 10% of your MP. Your current MP, not your max MP. So let's go ahead and find out real quick if it's the same situation with stealing MP as a basic attack. So come on down, flower thing. Yep, it's based on percentage. And not a whole lot either. So probably a good thing that this bag. Probably a good thing that this burnt leaf only recovers 5, because they don't really steal that much. So with that in mind, we don't really have to worry about their attack power. Or their speed, for that matter. Because it's always going to connect. It's not affected by agility. So we need to figure out experience and the money it gives. Aside from that, well, in that case, it's probably time to bring up this experience chart instead. Again. So let's go ahead and bring this up. We're currently at level 7, I believe. So at level 7, you need 109 experience to gain a level. So how much would I want that to be? Probably like 10 battles thereabouts to gain a level. So in that case, it would probably give around 10 or so experience points. Well, let's see how much experience all these guys is given. 7, 6, 5, 25, but you're a special case. And 15, you're also kind of a special case. Let's say for the burnt flower, 10. The harpy will be a little bit better, probably like 13 experience. The sky gargoyle will be at we'll say 16 perhaps. Nah, maybe 18. Yeah, 18, because that petrification is no joke. And even sleep would be an issue. So 10, 13, 18, and this guy with his multiple attacks and probably plenty of health will give, perhaps 28. Although you can't fit many of these guys in battle, can you, compared to the other guys? That's something else I need to consider. You can fit a lot of burnt flowers, up to 6 of them, up to 4 harpies and gargoyles, and up to 2 mini-mans. So in actuality, let's go with 38 for you. And probably like 15 experience for the harpy, and 23 for the sky gargoyle. That sounds about right. And then money. Well, like, this thing is constantly giving you healing items, so it doesn't give you money. It's a burnt flower. It had money to burn, and it burned. So, let's see. Along with that, we do need to figure out how much health it'll have. It'll probably go down in 2 hits, we'll say. So, let's see how much damage we cause with 1 hit. I should probably create a quick save down in the lower section, just so that we don't have to rewatch this part over and over again. I'm also going to want to keep in mind that as we're starting this section, we only have Monkey C. So Monkey C is causing a pretty good amount of damage, actually. 40 points of damage. So, now the question is, how much HP do I want these things to have? Now, I do want them to have the opportunity to possibly attack, but since Monkey C is by himself whenever he deals with these, if he got rid of this one in one hit, that other one is still going to be able to attack, so probably don't want these guys to have very much HP. We'll just say 10. I mean, they're burnt flour, so they probably are pretty brittle. Alright, so that's the burnt flour taken care of. Let's move on to the harpy. So we decided on his guard. How much money, I wonder, will it give? So, you're given 42, you're given 70, you're given 49, you're given 320, you're once again a special occasion. Let's say 55 you're giving away. Sky Coil will be given away. Yeah, we'll go with 90. And Many Man will give away... That'll do. Sort of. Probably. Nah. 123. I'm not entirely sure whether I want these newer monsters to give away that much more than the monsters earlier in the game, because it's not like you're going to find a new shop. You're still going to have a chance to go back to the old shop to still buy the old items, so maybe I wouldn't necessarily have these guys give a whole lot more. Maybe not. How much did the Iron Giant give? 180? Oh, never mind. In that case, 222. Well, also the burnt flowers don't even give anything, so maybe this is actually where I want the money amounts to be. Yeah, maybe. We'll go with that. Okay. So, that's that. As for how much attack the harpy is going to have, we do, of course, want it to cause some amount of damage. But first, let's figure out its agility. I imagine it would be kind of agile, so probably a little faster than Jenny? Possibly? Yeah, possibly. So if Jenny's got 56 agility, and Monkey C has 63, we'll say 61 perhaps. Now, I think that's actually going to be close enough to Monkey C, where it'll occasionally be able to strike before Monkey C. It's not like exact, where it's always determined by the number. Higher number does not necessarily mean always first, which is kind of dumb, but that's just how it is. But I want this thing to kind of be a threat through the whole dungeon, so that way level ups won't result in us suddenly outrunning this all the time. So though, maybe not 61. Let's go ahead and set it to 59. And the Sky Goyle will definitely be a little on the slower side. So, needs to be higher than 42. We'll say 48. Ah yeah, and there's also the resistance to status effects. Let's go ahead and figure that out while we're at it. Let's see here. How immune would these have to be? Well, quite honestly, the burnt flower has had a bad day. So, we'll go easy on it and give it max resistance. The other stuff, not so much. So, Harpy, Sky Goyle. Sky Goyle will probably have a relatively high. So, as a reminder, this being 1000 means 10% resistance to status afflictions. Do we want 10% or would it be a little bit higher? Maybe 20%? Well, what is the other enemies we got up here for comparison? None. Complete. None. And 2000. Huh. Well, I tried to change these, but I'm not going back to the lava dungeon, so they're set in stone. So the Sky Goyle would probably be a little thick-skinned. 2000, maybe, sure, it'll have the highest of the bunch. Maybe for the Harpy, it'd be like 8.5% chance resistance. Mini-Man would be a little bit higher. We'll say 12%. You know what, let's go 25% for the Sky Goyle. So that's all of that. That basically leaves... Okay, let me think here. Burnt Flower, I'd say you are for all intents and purposes done. So that just leaves the other three. Harpy, Sky Goyle, and Mini-Man. It's a question of how strong are their attacks. Well, in that case, let's find out what our defense is. So, our defense... not the defense, but guard. Guard being what our stats are, including equipment. So, guard... for Daristrix is 55 because he doesn't actually have any armor. Actually, for the most part, none of us have armor. Jenny's got the highest defense by far because of those shields that she found. So I'm gonna wanna kind of be careful here. Because the difference in defense between Monkey C and Jenny is pretty high, and I want enemies to be able to damage Jenny, but not outright murder Monkey C. What I might want to do here is alter the monster appearance under the castle. Kind of have this first section a little bit easier for Monkey See. And actually, it kind of is for the most part. Let's see, we got harpies, but more than likely the burnt flowers. Well, for this first segment, we're gonna... how do we want to do this? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is copy the data of this big section. Now let's delete this area. What I'm gonna do... so for these first couple of platforms, it'll be Monkey See by himself, and only those flower things. Starting down here, though, is when we can get some other stuff going on. So we'll paste the data there. Still a pretty high chance of burnt flowers, but it's also where the harpies come into play. Now let me see, right here I had it so nothing but sky goyles were encountered. That's kind of tough. And here is sky goyles, but also more likely harpies. Let's go ahead and set this part up real quick. We'll also paste the data from before. But we'll make it a little less likely that you have any burnt flowers. Equal chance of harpies and burnt flowers in this section. Meanwhile, starting off... it's gonna be nothing but burnt flowers. So that'll start things off a little bit easy for Monkey See. And then this section was high chance of burnt flowers, a few harpies, and then equal chance, gargoyles all over the place over here. Gargoyles and harpies, and then down here is when many-mans could be encountered. So with that in mind, just how strong are these harpies? Well, if their attack power is 71, that means they're causing 5 points of damage against Jenny. Whereas against Monkey See, well, let's see here. 71 minus 38. Divide that by 2, and he's taking around 16, 17 points of damage. Do I want him to take 16, 17 points of damage? I mean, not while he's by himself. That's the entire reason why I pushed the harpies back some. He's got 65 HP, so they would definitely be kind of painful. Also gotta keep in mind that Jenny managed to get 2 giant shields, so that definitely helps her out some. So maybe, yeah, maybe, that is a good amount of damage for Jenny. Out of curiosity, if she only had the regular shields, what would her defense be then? That's something else I want to consider. So let's go ahead and give her the weaker shields again. In which case her defense would go all the way down to 41. Boy, those giant shields are... It's certainly strong. So going all the way from 41 to 61, that's taken... That's 20 extra defense, so 10 less points of damage. That sounded like a lot whenever I was looking at the 20, but only 10 points of damage difference. It's a little more reasonable, actually. Still, though, let's look at the math some more. Math is always fun, isn't it? So in that case, 71, 41, that's easy. I can do that in my head. That's 15 points of damage that she'd be taking instead of 5. That's actually pretty significant now that I think about it. But hey, that's some unlikely equipment that she got there. Hypothetically unlikely. So I will probably say that much is good to start with. But the Sky Goyle is also going to be pretty dang strong. And the Mini-Man, oh boy, the Mini-Man. Yeah, maybe the Mini-Man should be the one to have that attack power. Because considering he strikes multiple times, would probably be somewhat beneficial that his attack is a little bit weaker. Although, by the time the player gets to him, it's possible that they'll have gained a level. So, let's hold off on that until we find out what our stuff is like upon gaining a level. That sounds like a smart move to do. You know what else is a smart move? Going into an episode break. So, we will be right back. And when we come back, we will continue to balance the monsters. And I'm feeling a little less likely that we're going to be going on to the next section of the final dungeon. There's still a chance, but it might still be a little bit It might still be a little bit